Power Rangers Unlimited Heir to Darkness, issue number 1 from Boom Studios. So it says issue number 1, but I believe this is just a one-shot, because at the end of this issue, it says continued in Power Rangers number 6. So I'm guessing this is just a one-shot, so you can see the backstory of Kay, aka Astronema. I've watched a lot of Power Rangers, especially the older stuff. I haven't really kept up with the newer stuff, but I've watched the Power Rangers, Turbo and Space, RPD, all that stuff. So I'm knowledgeable about the Rangers when it comes to that. I haven't really kept up with the comics. I've read like the first 6 or so issues of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from Boom Studios that came out a couple years ago. But other than that, I haven't been reading it, so I don't really know what's going on in the main storyline. So I'm guessing this is just kind of like I don't know if I want to say spin-off, but just kind of like, basically it's just a one-shot to kind of show the backstory of our main villain. Is she the main villain? I don't know. You guys can let me know if any of you guys are reading the comics. So yeah, we start off with Kay, and she's killing the Flashman, actually, which is kind of interesting. Flashman's the name of the group. It's not just one person. It's I can't say the name for the life of me. It's one of the Sentais. They're called. It's like the something in Japanese, something Flashman. I just recognize it from the suit. The suit is the Flashman suit. So she's killing the Flashman Rangers, and she goes to kill. There's like one left. Well, two left. One of them's a female. The other one is a male. And she goes to kill the female when she tells the other one to run. And Kay notices the other one running, goes to attack, and the Pink Ranger is able to slow her down long enough for the Green Ranger to disappear. And then she finishes off the Pink Ranger. And she teleports back to her ship, where she is informed that she has a message from Ecliptor, who is in Power Rangers in Space. He's Astronema's second in command. So Astronema is also from Power Rangers in Space. So this is Astronema before she becomes Astronema. Right now she's just known as Kay. And Kay is basically upset that she didn't do better. She could have easily finished off all the Flashman, quickly, but her hesitation, or just she didn't do what she was taught, and because of that, one of them was able to escape and the other one took a while to go down. And so we have a flashback of Ecliptor training Kay and some of these other children. I know 2 of them, I believe. So one of them just goes by the name D, and this is Divatox. She is from Turbo, I believe. Yeah, she's from Turbo. So she's from Power Rangers Turbo. And then we have, I think this is Mal, as in Malagor. And he is also from Turbo. He's from the Power Rangers Turbo movie. He is Divatox's husband, if I'm remembering correctly. And then I don't know who this other one is. So we have Astronema from In Space. We have Ecliptor from In Space. We have Divatox from Turbo, and we have Malagor from Turbo. We have someone else who I don't know, and then we have the Flashman, who are from their own Super Sentai series. So that's what we've seen so far. So Kay is being trained. Kay is able to block one of Ecliptor's attacks, but as she starts celebrating it, Ecliptor attacks her. And basically the lesson here is that never stop your battle until the enemy's down for good. So even if you've accomplished something, even if you've knocked your opponent down or whatever, the opponent can still fight back. So until your opponent is dead, don't ever let up. That's the lesson. So Ecliptor breaks her staff, kind of embarrasses her in front of the rest of the group. And of course, Divatox, D at this point in time, insults Kay, and basically like says like you're useless and all this stuff, because Divatox, or D at this point in time, is the star pupil. She's basically the leader of this small little group I mean, Ecliptor is the leader of the group, but she's like the leader of the kids because she's the strongest at this point in time. Anyways, eventually we come back to the present where she contacts Ecliptor, and it's time for her to have a match, another match against Divatox. So in the past, it seems like I believe she's failed against Divatox. Lately, she has drawn with Divatox, and in this world, they see draws as failures because you didn't win. So it's not like, oh, we both came out a tie. There is no tie. You guys just both lose. So yeah, we have another flashback of Divatox beating down Kay again and insulting Kay's family, like basically saying, you're nothing but a burden. Your family's dead. Blah blah blah, and that seems to reignite something in Kay, and she basically spends her off time constantly training in simulations, kind of like the hologram room in the X-Men, the Danger Room. So she's fighting holograms, trying to get better, and she gets knocked down again. Like the training is kicking her butt, and Eclipse sees her and tells her you gotta be better and stuff. And Kay questions like, why am I doing all this? And Ecliptor says, like, you're doing this, it's because it's what your family wants. He's like, I don't care what my family want because they're dead. They abandoned me, basically. Like, I'm nothing. Basically, like, everyone's ashamed of me, like, just like you're ashamed of me. And then we have a flashback with Ecliptor, and we see a bit of, like, humanity out of him. Basically, after Kay's parents are killed, Ecliptor is given the task of training Kay to basically, like, Kay is going to be your new apprentice trainer to destroy the Rangers and stuff. And Ecliptor is given an older child, one who has experienced life, one who has more memories of her previous life than the others. And Ecliptor realizes that the reason Dark Kunda, who is also in Power Rangers in Space, he's like the main honcho. He's like the main villain, the leader of everybody. The reason why Dark Kunda has given Ecliptor K and the oldest child is because it will be harder to teach her because she still retains her memories and stuff. She's more likely to fail. And if she fails, then Ecliptor fails. And if Ecliptor fails, then basically he's gonna, I guess, be killed. And so Ecliptor kind of takes this to heart and gives Kay a pendant that she had as before she was abducted that shows her in her previous life with her brother, and says like, your parents exist. This pendant proves that you had parents. So that means that your parents are not nothing. And if they're not nothing, then you're not nothing. And, I've never been ashamed of you. And now it's time for you to prove yourself. And then that's when we come back to the present day where Kay faces down Divatox and eventually beats her. And of course, this is when Kay becomes Astronema and D becomes Divatox. And yeah, so there you go. There's the whole backstory for Astronema. I guess I kind of spoiled most of this chapter, but yeah, it was good. I mean, I liked it. Kind of lost at times because I'm not kept up with the comics, so I don't know how close the comics followed the TV show. The comics are obviously more mature. I mean, I wouldn't say these are for adults, but this is more of a less kid-friendly and more like for teenagers. I mean, she's literally like murdering Flashman. I know like murder kind of happened some of the Power Rangers, but it was not really. I mean, it did happen in the Sentai. For anyone who wants like a darker Power Rangers, like if you guys like Power Rangers but you want something darker, I mean, obviously the first thing I would say is Garu, and then after Garu I would say Kamen Rider. But if you want to stick strictly to like Power Rangers, check out the Super Sentai series because you actually have like murder and stuff like that going on. Jetman would be probably right up your alley. Jetman is probably the darkest and grittiest when it comes to the Super Sentai. So I wouldn't say this is I would say this is probably similar to Jetman but less grittier. than that series was. But yeah, as I was saying before, I kind of rambled off. I don't follow the comics, so I don't know how faithful they're staying. I do have knowledge though of the TV show, so that's where all my stuff comes. So if you haven't read the comics, you might be a little lost. If you've seen the old TV series, specifically in Space and Turbo, pretty much all you really need to watch to understand this issue, anyways. But if you haven't watched those and you haven't kept up with the comics and you're just picking this one up, yeah, it's going to be so easy to get lost. Like this doesn't really, it doesn't really guide you on what, like all it seems like it's like, okay, there's a girl. This is basically like Gamora, a girl who her parents were killed and she was taken by like her family's killers in a sense and raised to be a warrior and had to go through a lot of trials and tribulations, and yeah, that's basically the gist of the story. But a lot of it's kind of easy to get lost in a sense of like you can get the basic premise but not more detailed unless you've watched the show or read the comics. I'm assuming if you read the comics. I don't, like I said, I haven't read the comics, so I don't know if Kay is in there yet, if Divatox is in there, or if they're going to appear in an upcoming issue, because this issue does end with a continued in issue number 6, continued in Power Rangers number 6. So if Kay hasn't showed up there yet, then she will soon. So yeah, I'm kind of rambling at this point. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you haven't kept up with the comics and you haven't watched the old shows, this is going to be kind of confusing. If you haven't kept up with the comics but you have watched the old shows, you can kind of make out what's going on. It won't be as confusing. And if you've read the comics, maybe this would be a lot easier to understand. I would assume so, but again, I haven't read the comics, so I wouldn't know. But other than that, I liked it. I thought the artwork was pretty decent. It was good. Like, nothing to complain about, really. Story, again, it was interesting. Like, we got basically the story. It was kind of a cliche story. I mean, it's basically like Gamora's story, and I'm sure Gamora isn't like the originator of that whole story. I'm assuming, this story seems like it's been done a lot already before in the past. So it's not like anything new. It's just more like, hey, if you ever wanted to know Astronema's like backstory and how she became Astronema, then here you go. This is it. If you want to know how Divatox became Divatox, this issue is it. That's kind of it. It doesn't. So that's all it really brings to the table. So if that's what you're interested in, then yeah, check it out. If not, then I guess you can skip it. If you're following the Power Rangers comics, I'm assuming you can also just skip this if you want. Like, I think this is just more of if you wanted more story, more background details on one of the characters, or two of the characters, I should say. Well, I guess 3, because Ecliptor as well. So if you wanted more backstory on them, then read it. If you don't really care, then you can skip it. So yeah, does that make sense? Sorry, I don't script my videos, as you guys can probably guess. So hopefully that all made sense. But yeah, in terms of just reading the comic, yeah, it was fine. Like, if I were to grade it, I don't know, maybe a 5 out of 10. Again, a 5 out of 10 that is average. It means it's not bad, it's not good, it's okay. So my 5 out of 10 is not the same as like an IGN 5 out of 10. If this was a bad comic, I would give it a 3 or a 2, and if it was like a terrible comic, it would be like a 1. So a 5 means that it's okay. It's an okay comic. Maybe I'll be a little bit generous and say it's a 6. So it's better than okay. It's not great. It was interesting, but that was kind of it. Again, like, writing is fine. I guess if you're interested in the character, then this would be right up your alley. So yeah, writing, the dialogue, everything. Like, there's nothing where it's like, no potholes that I can see. Like, there's nothing where it's like, oh, this action didn't really make much sense. Like, all the characters made sense. Some of them, I mean, especially like Divatox, was kind of just like your average cliche bully, being mean for the sake of being mean. But I guess then again, I mean, she was raised by Dark Konda's men and stuff like that. So obviously they're not all going to be generous people. But other than the cliche villains, which I mean, Power Rangers had that too. The characters came off okay. Writing is okay. Artwork isn't terrible. I mean, it's fine. It's good. Like, I have no problem with the artwork. But it's not like a wondrous story, like an unforgettable story. It's kind of a cliche story with its own, take, but not anything that I've never seen before. So yeah, it's a better than okay, but not great comic issue. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me what you guys think, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later. So what'd you guys think of that video? I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit that bell for a notification, leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you didn't enjoy the video, thank you for watching it this far, and I hope the next video is more to your liking. Feel free to check out the playlist that you guys see, and I hope to see you guys next time. Later.